For me, success was always going to be a Lamborghini. But now I've got it. It just sits on my drive. 50 Cent. Can you remember the last time you were dreaming of buying a new car, getting a promotion at work, moving into a nicer house, or finding the perfect partner to share life with? Do you remember fantasizing about how happy and elated you would be if you attained those things? Initially, the excitement and thrill of driving the new car or living in the new house was incredibly pleasurable and may have resulted in a momentary increase in happiness. However, over time, the novelty wears off, and the car or the house or the job becomes just another part of daily life. The happiness that was initially derived from the purchase fades away, and you once again begin thinking and fantasizing about upgrading to a newer or more expensive car in order to experience that brief increase in happiness. This cycle of constant desire for newer or better possessions is a manifestation of the hedonic treadmill, where individuals must keep increasing their desires to maintain the same level of happiness. Jonathan Haidt beautifully explained the hedonic treadmill in his book, Happiness Hypothesis, with the following words: "On an exercise treadmill, you can increase the speed all you want, but you stay in the same place. In life, you can work as hard as you want and accumulate all the riches, fruit trees, and concubines you want, but you can't get ahead. Because you can't change your natural and usual state of tranquility. The riches you accumulate will just raise your expectations and leave you no better off than you were before. Yet, not realizing the futility of our efforts, we continue to strive, all the while doing things that help us win at the game of life. Always wanting more than we have, we run and run and run like hamsters on a wheel. At its core, the hedonic treadmill, also known as the hedonic adaptation, refers to the tendency for our happiness to return to a baseline or set point, regardless of our circumstances, choices, or accomplishments. In this video, we will explore the origins and implications of the hedonic treadmill, as well as ways in which individuals can break free from its hold. A little history. The concept of the hedonic treadmill has its roots in ancient Greek philosophy, particularly in the teachings of the Stoics. However, the term was first coined by Brickman and Campbell in their article, Hedonic Relativism and Planning the Good Society, in 1971. This interview-based study, while not longitudinal, was the beginning of a now large body of work exploring the relativity of happiness. In 1978, Brickman, Coates, and Janoff-Bullman offered initial empirical support for the treadmill model. In studies that have become classics in the field, Brickman et al. Studied two sets of people. One was a group of people who won large lottery prizes, and the other was a group of accident victims who were now paralyzed. The research revealed that, in the long term, neither group appeared to be happier than the other. Of course, the lottery winners and paralysis victims experienced initial reactions of happiness and sadness, respectively. The effects didn't turn out to be long-lasting, and people in both groups shortly reverted to their previous levels of happiness. They concluded that lottery winners were not much happier than non-winners, and that people with paraplegia were not substantially less happy than those who can walk. This study caught the attention of psychologists. The idea of hedonic adaptation was appealing because it offered an explanation for the observation that people appear to be relatively stable in happiness despite changes in fortune. In addition, the treadmill theory explained the observation that people with substantial resources are sometimes no happier than those with few resources, and that people with severe problems are sometimes quite happy. Thus, the research of Brickman and colleagues became central to the way many scientists understand happiness. Behavioral psychology has shown a keen interest in the concept of the happiness set point, which posits that our long-term happiness remains relatively stable despite significant life events. It has been revealed that everyone has their own happiness set point. This refers to one's genetically determined predisposition for happiness. This theory can be likened to a thermometer, wherein the temperature may go up or down, but ultimately returns to normal. This may explain why happiness often feels elusive to many of us. Daniel Kahneman, the founder of behavioral economics, had to say this about happiness. People are exposed to many messages that encourage them to believe that a change of weight, scent, hair color or coverage, car, clothes, or many other aspects will produce a marked improvement in their happiness. Our research suggests a moral and a warning. Nothing that you focus on will make as much difference as you think. Hedonic adaptation is a fact of life. However, knowing and being aware of how it operates in our lives can help us mitigate its negative effects and engage in activities that are less susceptible to its stifling effects. Now, there are a few ways that can help us escape the hedonic treadmill and help create long-term sources of happiness. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Holocaust, wrote about how people who survived the concentration camps in Auschwitz weren't necessarily the strongest, but they had a clear purpose in life. They had a why. It was their purpose that made them endure even the most difficult and horrifying conditions. He writes in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, "Life is not primarily a quest for pleasure, as Freud believed, or a quest for power, as Alfred Adler taught, but a quest for meaning. The great task for any person is to find meaning in his or her life. Basically, when you do things in life just for the sake of doing them, you get caught up, running after futile activities that do not add meaning to your life. You may work hard, day and night, but neither does the journey excite you, nor does reaching the destination bring any joy. But when there's meaning involved, when you have a why, even tiny accomplishments become a great source of joy. Starting with why bridges the gap between knowing what's right for you and actually making it a part of your life. It opens up the space necessary to pause, reflect, and make a conscious choice. Managing your life according to your own values and what is important to you enables you to lead a life with intention instead of simply being carried along by the tide. 2. Practice gratitude. One unique characteristic of humans is their ability to derive pleasure by reminiscing about past happy experiences. Studies suggest that intentionally expressing gratitude for positive experiences can enhance one's capacity for happiness. Additionally, by continually reflecting on and appreciating the events or circumstances that brought about positive change in life, it is possible to slow down the process of hedonic adaptation. As Roy T. Bennett puts it in his book, The Light in the Heart, be grateful for what you already have while you pursue your goals. If you aren't grateful for what you already have, what makes you think you would be happy with more? 3. Be mindful. What if I told you that life is like music, and we are meant to play our way through it, not work our way through it? Life is best understood as an analogy with music. Can you imagine if all music was produced for its last end note only, completely disregarding the rest of it? The truth is that a song or a composition is only beautiful and effective if there is an equal application of effort throughout its entirety. The point is to enjoy life for what it is in the moment, and most of all, be playful with it. In Alan Watts's words, the physical universe is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. The experience is similar to a roller coaster ride. The thrill lies in the ride itself, not just the destination. Unfortunately, many people delay their happiness until they have reached their goal, instead of finding joy in the present moment. Jonathan Haidt calls it the progress principle. He says, pleasure comes more from making progress toward goals than from achieving them. The final moment of success is often no more thrilling than the relief of taking off a heavy backpack at the end of a long hike. If you went on the hike only to feel that pleasure, you are a fool.